Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Infernus, and welcome to another comic book review. Now, when it comes to these reviews, I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit of information. I'm probably not going to be doing a review of a certain movie or show unless I notice something different upon rewatching it. And I know that might seem a bit strange, like, already know what you're going to say, you might as well make a review of it, and I could do that. But at the same time, it would just feel like I'm just saying again what I said in the original review or like the ranking that I did. So generally I only do these if I either have something new to say about something I've already reviewed or I haven't already reviewed it. This is the case of the former because in this video, I'm actually going to be reviewing one of my favorite movies in the MCU right now, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. A movie that I've recently found out has been pretty divisive amongst the MCU fan base, but frankly, I've kind of just tried to ignore the fan base as much as possible, given how whiny a lot of them have been. No offense to the people who aren't like that, I'm just saying, not a huge fan of the people who are. But anyways, what is there good to say about this movie? Well, I guess the big question is, upon rewatching it, did I like it as much? Yes, actually. I liked it a good bit more, in fact. Well, I noticed a new good thing and a new not so good thing, but I'll get to that part when I get to it. First of all, this is distinctly a samurai. It's weird, like weird as hell. This is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. It's gruesome. It's very disturbing at times. It's horrific. It's pretty unnerving. And I love it all the more for it. This is a movie that only Sam Raimi could have made, and it was just a blast and a half to rewatch. But the Sam Raimi isms here aren't the only good thing this movie has to offer. Well, first of all, visuals are still great. All look amazing and are horrifying in their own ways. And even like the way the deaths are visualized, each one is gruesome and disturbing in their own way. But at the same time, the character arcs as well work well in this movie. Of course, my favorite of the two of them being Stephen Strange's arc, where because he's exploring the multiverse, he's able to learn about these other versions of Doctor Strange, these other versions of himself who held the knife, and it ended up costing them a lot. Defender Strange, who is the Strange that, or 617 Strange that they confirmed later, he had to be the one to take America's powers, so he ended up getting killed for it, and then eventually had someone dreamwalk into his body, but he was dead by then, so I doubt he cared. Or maybe he did, who knows. And then 838 Strange had to hold the knife and use the Darkhold to dreamwalk and find different ways to stop Thanos, and he caused an incursion and had to be executed by Black Bolt. So that's one thing I love about this movie. It used the multiverse in a way that, yeah, there wasn't a lot of it and there wasn't a lot of madness, but they still used it to great effect by using it to develop our main character. So here we have a Doctor Strange who eventually learns he doesn't have to hold the knife. He can give the knife to someone else for a change. And in the final battle, he uses that knife, he gives it to America Chavez, and he gives her the strength to trust her power. And he tells her, every time you've opened a portal, you took us right to where we need to be. So he reassures her that she can control the power, and she gives Wanda what she wants and convinces her to close the Darkhold. And speaking of Wanda, okay, well, I basically just spoiled what my thoughts were on her character arc, but the thing that this is one reason why I love Wanda Maximoff in this franchise is that she's very morally complex. She can be a good guy, she can be a bad guy, she can be all these different things, and yet she still has a moral. Now, of course, that moral compass is practically fucked in this movie because she's being corrupted by the Darkhold. But when she sees that the thing she wants might not be the best thing for her, when she finds out that, hey, your kids might actually be really freaking scared of you, she realizes how far she's gone, and she ends up doing the right thing. She closes the Darkhold so no one will ever be tempted by it again. That doesn't stop our Doctor Strange from getting a third eye, but what can you do? Now, I love this movie. I love what it does with the directing, the visuals, the characters, and all that. And I still love the hell out of this movie even after rewatching it, but I'll admit it's not perfect. I know that a lot of people have issues. I understand those issues. And the one issue that I do agree with is that there was some wasted potential here. Not with the multiverse, because I think what they did with the multiverse was still great. A lot of the wasted potential has to do with the Illuminati. Of course, they brought back and I'm trying to remember the names of the actors, but like they brought back Anson Mount, Patrick Stewart, Haley Atwell, Lashana Lynch for their roles. They brought back the guy who played Mordo in the first movie, whose name I can't even pronounce, and they brought in John Krasinski, the most fan cast actor for Mr. Fantastic, as Mr. Fantastic. And with the exception of Mordo, they all kind of die within 5 minutes. I mean, I get why they have to show how powerful Wanda has become, but like, you couldn't have shown that some other way. Now, I'm not part of the crowd who's calling Mr. Fantastic the dumbest man alive. I actually do have a video planned where I basically act like his lawyer from, I wouldn't say Beyond the Grave because that implies the afterlife, but I'm essentially going to be defending him in a sense because I don't see him as dumb. I think that there are a lot of different factors at play that led to him telling Wanda that Black Bolt could destroy her with one whisper from his mouth. And keep in mind, he said could. All the memes say can in the subtitles, but on Disney Plus they confirmed that he says could, not can. That's one little piece of evidence that I'm going to be using in that video. But admittedly, I would have liked to have seen more of the Illuminati because, I mean, more of Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I mean, there are rumors that Henry Cavill will be playing that role, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think that would work pretty well, but just would have loved to see more Krasinski, man. And, like, they also showed Anson Mount coming back as Black Bolt. Like, all these guys coming back as their characters, and they all die. I know I just talked about that for a good amount, but that really is a minor thing, at least to me. Another minor thing is that it is pretty exposition heavy at times. In fact, there's quite a lot of exposition throughout the movie, but I don't know. It just didn't really bother me as much as it probably would have, because like you can tell that it's exposition, that there's a lot of it, but it didn't bother me. At least to me, it just felt natural. Maybe that's just me not being bothered by exposition dumps, but I didn't have much of an issue with it. Overall, it was top tier when I first did the ranking, and it's still top tier. It's still a 5 out of 5. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but I think the problems are so minor that I'm perfectly comfortable with giving it this perfect score. I know a lot of people will do much lower, but at least for me, I enjoyed this movie a lot both times when I watched it, and it is a movie where if someone wants to watch it again, I'm like, hell yeah, put it on. Because this is just one of those movies that did a lot for me. This is easily one of the highlights of Phase 4 in a phase where projects were pretty hit and miss. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this review. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. I'm not going to bore you with all the generic stuff. Yes! Didn't screw it up like in the Punisher review. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. See you all in the next video. Take care.